All right, welcome back, everybody. We're in Cincy. We're back straight away. It's very... This tournament started 2 days ago. We're back. It's been 2 seconds since we last watched a match. But Cincinnati's getting real. Today is where things start to get serious. The seeds start playing. To be honest, I don't think we've missed much. I think Venus played. She lost in the first couple of rounds. But we haven't missed much in Cincy, despite... it's been going on for a couple of days. But yeah, seeds start today. All the big names. Swiatek, Sabalenka, Sinner being the three big ones that are playing. We get to watch for the first time, we get to watch Sabalenka and Sinner on hard courts. The defending champions and the US Open defending champions as well. So it's going to be fun. But we've got Swiatek taking on Potapova. They played once before. Back in at the French Open last year, and it was 6-love, 6-love. Double bagel Swiatek. It was a bakery. It was a special. So let's see if on the hard courts there's any difference. I think like Potapova, it's weird because she's like, every time I see her in the draw, I think that she's like, she should be seeded, but she's not top 30. She's outside the top 30. So I don't know what's going on with that. But she's very dangerous, and could, if she plays well, could be a threat. So we'll see if that's the case. I'm just having a look at the draw. See if anyone we've missed. Fonseca, he won earlier, or 2 days ago. He beat. He's going to play for Kina today, so that's a good matchup. Yeah, not much. It's pretty, like these tournaments are pretty. I mean, look, if you've never watched one of these 1000s and you wonder why, you hear all these people crying about them being 2 weeks. It's basically a grand slam, except for the first 2 days. You don't get to see any of the players that are actually going to win the whole thing. Like, that's what it is. That's what it feels like. It's a grand slam, but except the day 1 and 2 and day 3, the first rounds, you don't get to see any of the big names. You have to wait 3 days before the tournament, begins. More so this week too, because like Osaka pulled out and Boko pulled out. Raducanu is seeded, so even the unseeded players that we watch are either not playing or not unseeded. So yeah, the first round was real rough. Vondi, we're gonna watch her later. She played first round. So did Venus, but this is the first tournament I think even for the WTA. There's not been much to watch. But it doesn't matter. We're here now. We're 3 days in, and we're gonna watch the seeds from now on. We're gonna watch them. Wong took out GMP. Yeah, that's a good one. That's interesting. That's interesting. But yeah. But let's see what happens. Let's see what comes of this, because Swiatek is obviously needs to recover after last week's loss. How was my day off? I'm busy. It was busy. I still didn't get everything done that I needed to, but that's all right. I'll do it again today. By the way, chat, next 4 weeks are going to be very, very crazy. So we've got Cincinnati next week, and then we've got the US Open mixed doubles, and then we've got the US Open, and then that's it. And then we can I think it's like 2 weeks off, and then we got Labour Cup. So yeah, next 4 weeks are going to be pretty intense. And then after that, it's like the season's kind of over. I mean, September, October are pretty chill, and then November is when we watch the end of the year. Asia, like the Asian swings there and stuff, but post US Open, it gets pretty chill. All right, I have no idea who's going to be playing, who's serving, but we'll find out in a second. Also, it looks super hot out there as well. And they've also changed the colors of like the venue and stuff, so that's fun. That was part of the upgrade. I think there's a lot of like outside facilities that they've changed as well, or they've upgraded. So, have I noticed the new animation when you light the stream? No. What's that? Let me have a look. What does it do? Cool. That's cool. Like the stream to see what the new animation looks like. 15 love. Swiatek serving first. I'm going to go Swiatek in straights. All right, we got fault second serve. Who is winning in the men's side? Probably Sinner. Match of the day? Probably Vondrousova Sabalenka. That's why it's on at night. Sabalenka Vondi, I think. It's, especially after what happened last time they played. Other players playing today, you got Keys, Runa, who's playing right now. Musetti's playing right now. You've got Raducanu is playing later. Paul, Anisimova, Tiafo, Fritz. Raducanu, Fonseca. We're gonna watch Sabalenka and Sinner later as well. So it's a pretty full bill today. 40 love. Swiatek serves again. Let. The return goes to the net from Potapova. Swiatek holds first game of the match. By the way, chat, I did find some cool shit at the thrift yesterday. I ended up going to the thrift for like 2 seconds. Let me show you. I found this CD rack for $6. It goes in the corner. It's a corner. It goes in the corner. And I found this light that has like a transparent purple plastic thing. And this goes like this. I used to have one of these. But I just liked it because it's like that purple transparent plastic. Very 90s. All right, love 15. I feel like it's a winner, love 30. So it was a good, successful thing. Is Cincinnati good for tourism? Why are you spamming? Prediction Swiatek 2. Nice. There goes out on the return from Swiatek. 15-30. Oh, man. Runa's injured? What happened? 15-30. As Potapova serves a fault, second serve. Swiatek comes to the net and puts it long, 30-0. As that goes out from Swiatek, 40-30. Nobody has worry about Iga crying like Osaka did, thank God. How is your name Reverend and you haven't got a heart? 40-30. As with a fault, second serve. As return goes in the back and Potapova. Backhand Swiatek in the net, 1-1. Potapova wins her first game against Swiatek. Yay! By the way, Chad, if you are, and look, I know we're not going to change the world with this, and I'm probably not going to change anyone's opinion on this, but if you are somebody who maybe like took offense to Osaka not saying thank you in the speech, or not saying good work to Mboko, just go watch her post-match interview where she does talk about that, or she does say, I'm sorry, like, I missed it. I'm sorry that I didn't say it on court. But go listen to her because it is very sad. It's not like sad as in like, it's sad that she didn't say it on court. Just go here. Like, she is, just be careful, right? Just don't, just be careful what you say, what you type and what go watch that because it's, maybe you'll think twice about, criticizing somebody who, I heard her speak and I'm just like, I just want to give her a hug, All right, 15 love. There's a back and goes in line the forehand of Swiatek. Forehand on the stretch from Potapova. That's a good shot, but Swiatek puts it in the open court. Potapova somehow gets there. But Swiatek puts it away. 30 love. Felt the same way. Yeah. But I saw like an interview with her and she, she just, you just feel kind of, I just feel sorry for her, you feel bad. But I already, I wasn't criticizing her anyway. But if you are someone who was, or maybe someone who was like on the fence and you're like, I don't really, I'm not a fan of her, but also, didn't appreciate that, go watch that. And then maybe it kind of will make you think, okay, well, maybe we should all just give her a bit of a break. Maybe we should just not be so, not be so critical, All right, Potapova gets a bit lucky with the tape. $30-15. As a return goes in the net from Potapova, 40-15. Swiatek to take the lead. And we're serving the forehand of Potapova. Return goes into the backhand. Swiatek. Swiatek gets a winner. 2-1. Swiatek leads. Swiatek with the lead. 2-1. I don't know how hot it is in Cincy, but it looks pretty damn hot. Well said, Cam. Always on side of empathy and basic respect. Yeah. Well, there's enough. I feel like there's enough people out there, criticizing and saying thinking of how the world should be and how things should be and how people should be acting and and how players should be this and that and But I think we can be a bit more thoughtful. Maybe come from a different place instead of just judging. Somebody, a player for not doing something. Maybe we should just be a little bit more like, okay, well, why? Why? Why did Osaka maybe want to get the hell out of there and only give like a 20-second speech, And maybe if you find out why, maybe and you hear her speak post match, maybe you hopefully maybe it'll make you think, oh, okay, she wasn't just being selfish and rude or whatever people are saying, because she wasn't. She was just in that moment was just was just not really in the right frame of mind to give a speech, All right, 2-1 Swiatek. The press tend to exaggerate. It's not even the press. I think it's just people just get... I think it's just a lot of... Like, I didn't see many people... I mean, the press are obviously going to be like, they're going to exaggerate their stories to get people to click. But I think it was before people were writing stories about the press, like the thing. It was, I think people comment. It was more just like the social media reaction with people commenting. This is disrespectful. Oh my God, she's the worst person ever. And you go, really? She's the worst person ever? Like, really? I think people are just getting a little overreactive, and but also like, I feel like it was a bit. I mean, not just her, but like with anybody, being so reactive is, it's very hurtful. It could be very hurtful to if they read them. So I think we just got to be careful. We got to be careful. Just because you think, oh well, no, she's never going to see what I say, doesn't mean it doesn't. Doesn't mean people. Maybe she does see what you say, and that's and it does affect her. These are people. Love 40. As it goes out by Swiatek, and it's 15-40. As Potapova serves again. Still break points. Can we start a new tradition where the person who collects the trophy doesn't do a speech? Yeah, I mean that's not a bad idea. The runners-up speeches are always like strange, isn't it? Anyways, that goes out by Potapova. Swiatek breaks 3-1. Actually, that's not like Dane. That's a good idea. I mean, why does the runner-up have to give a speech in the moment? Like, especially because like you've made the final. It's a big deal, and you've lost in one of the biggest finals or one of the biggest matches, right? Finals are big, no matter what level. And then you got to go make a speech after, and then everyone expects you to, whoa, you better say this. Even though you lost, we feel bad for you losing, but also like, but you better not, you better say something. It's like one of the most disappointing moments, you have to then try and speak like. I mean, that's brutal. Like that. I mean, yeah. Why do we do that? Does any other sport do that? I feel like no other sport does that. Like when somebody's in a big boxing fight, does the person who loses give a speech? I think they just walk off, don't they? Does the runner-up of the Super Bowl give a speech, or is it just like the team that won get celebrated? Like, what do we? Does it happen? I don't know. I can't think of. I'm trying to think of like when the silver medalists have to give a speech. Does that ever? I don't think it ever happens. I think losing is enough. You don't need to be put in the spotlight and be like, by the way, you lost. Tell us about it. So what do we do? That's brutal. That's crazy. 30 love. Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't mind, because we're already going to hear them in the press conference, the runner-up. So why do we need to put them on the stage? That's actually not a bad idea, maybe. But I would not be opposed to, like, okay, the runner-up, you get your trophy, you sit back in your chair, and then the winner goes up, makes the speech, all that stuff, and the runner-up can just kind of like give him a break, you know, give him a chance to compose himself, you know. That's brutal. I mean, go watch the Anisimova speech after the Wimbledon final. That should tell you that we shouldn't be doing runner-up speeches are crazy, you know. Anyway, Swiatek 4-15. Well, Anisimova, the poor thing, first Grand Slam final, biggest moment of her career, Wimbledon, can't win a game, and then they ask her a bunch of questions, like in the middle of everybody, and the world's watching. Here, tell us about your final, and you're like, it just happened. Anyway, it's 4-1. Runner-up speeches should be optional. Yeah, maybe that's the better, you know. Yeah, hey, credit to Anisimova for putting on a brave face. You know, it's tough. Yeah, but I would not be opposed to runner-up speeches being cut and having just the winner speak, and then the runner-up go get the trophy and just kind of, you know, sit there and be there, but not be. Oh, that's actually not a bad idea. I wouldn't mind that. I don't know when runner-up speeches became the norm. Maybe it's because, like, back in the day they did them just because, and it's just been a thing that's ever happened forever, but I don't know. I didn't hear you say this when Carlos lost to Sinner. He still gave a speech, was thankful he got to the final again. What? Why are you getting? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? What are we doing? What are you coming at me for? Hello? Why would I be talking about somebody who like, what are you talking about? I mean, no, we've had like a lot of titles, a lot of things since Wimbledon. I could name every single runner-up from now on, since then, and say, oh, what about Sabalenka at the at the French Open? What about blah 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 blah? Yeah, I mean, Alcaraz is classy as hell, you know, and again, but also comparing him to Anisimova. I mean, Anisimova is playing her first Grand Slam final. You know, a Wimbledon final. She was probably liked her chances. She played great. She beat Sabalenka to get there. A little bit different to Alcaraz, who's been in the finals before, has won a bunch of these trophies. A little less disappointing when you've already won a bunch. You know, Cam's not happy with me. Lady SJ, you started it. What are you talking about? You came at me. You came. You gotta come in here and yell at it and go, oh, what about Alcaraz? And then when I reply, you're like, oh, you're angry at me. I'm not angry at you. You came at me. What the hell? Anyways, backhand. What are we doing? 15, like Saturday. What are we doing? 4-4 rally. As Potapova 4-8 again, the forehand of Swiatek, and she hits a winner 15-0. 15-all. And Anisimova made a great run-off speech. Yeah, but I mean, even like she, when she started, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's tough though. I mean, I think it should be optional. I think that's a. But then again, I don't think it should be optional. I just don't think it should be a thing. Because what's going to happen is if it's optional, then the person who doesn't do it is going to be called a sore loser and shit, So it should just be dismissed. I don't think we need them. It should be optional in the fact that like it's not expected, I'm on Cam's naughty list. Lady SJ, I've got no problem. What are you talking about? You're going crazy. What are you doing? Yeah, I don't think it should be optional. I think it should be not expected. And then, like, if the person wants to make a speech, they can, but they don't have to. Like, it should be no speech. But then, if you want to make a speech, then the runner-up can make a speech. But if you don't want to make one, it's not expected of you. That might be better, because otherwise, what's going to happen is the person that decides not to make a speech are going to get so much hate, and then they're going to feel like, oh well, I don't want to get that, so I better say something, So, Lady SJ, I'm assuming that maybe you think Osaka was disrespectful and you're not happy with her. Is that maybe that's where you're coming from? That's why you're getting a bit shouty. 15-40. As Potapova in the net. 5-1. Is that why you're using exclamation points after every single sentence? Is that why? Is that why you... Did I trigger something? Sorry. Anyways. Swiatek was dominating. Just follow what they do for the non-final matches. I don't think the loser should have to do a post-match interview. Why change the final? True. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the person who loses in the semis doesn't do anything. They just leave, don't they? So, yeah, maybe that's the... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it has to be... I mean, I don't think it's a big enough problem that they're going to change it, but yeah. It does seem so... Like, thinking about it, it does seem a little strange. People thought she was rude and felt entitled. Lady SJ, did you feel that way, or are you just saying do you feel that way? Or other people feel, are you thinking, like, I saw the other people for sure. Other people definitely felt that way. Did you feel that way though? Are you on that same, because a lot of people felt that way and I get it, but anyways, 15 love. There's a serve in the backhand of Potapova. Backhand from Swiatek. Potapova hits it out. And it's 30 love. Andy already talked about it on his podcast, and it's the worst experience ever. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, like I said, you lose one of the biggest matches of your life, and then you have to talk about it. And you have to tell, you have to say, it's so like it's shit. Tell us how you feel in this moment 5 seconds after losing a big final. 30 love. As a return, goes back in Swiatek. Backhand from Potapova. No, Swiatek get it out. Okay. 30-15. It certainly is one of the more cruel parts of the sport. Yeah, it is. I don't know why it's not spoken about more. Like, why don't we question this more? 40-15. But the thing is, the first player to say, hey, runner-up speeches are bad, is going to be the one who gets all the hate. Like, the first player to say runner-up speeches are weird and we shouldn't do them is going to get a lot of people that are going to hate on them. Just like they hated on Osaka, just because she didn't say something that everyone thought she should say. Like, it's like, yeah. Like, the first, like, if someone's like, hey, we should get rid of these run-up speeches, so many people are going to be like, oh, well, just win then. Just win the title, then you won't have to make one. Like, you won't feel, like, it's going to be so, like, reactionary. The internet is crazy. Anyways, 6-1. Swiatek just kicking ass. All right. By the way, we do have Sinner coming up a little bit later, and also Raducanu and Sabalenka and somebody else. Do you think women get more judgment than the men for the unsportsmanlike speeches? No. No, I think I think that I can't think of a time when recently, because it's rare that we even talk about this. This is a rare thing. The only time we've ever had, like, recently had a discussion about somebody's post-match reaction was when Sabalenka said that Swiatek could have beaten Gauff, right? That's the last time we had this, like, kind of... And again, this isn't even on that level, because that was, like, that blew up. Whereas this is more just, like, somebody not saying something rather than somebody saying something wrong, or, saying the wrong thing, But I'm sure I can't think of anything recently where the runner-up speech, or even just like a post-match interview from one of the guys, has been controversial. But I'm sure there is. Maybe Tiafoe talking about the clown, losing the clowns. That was a big deal, right? That blew up pretty big. I'm just trying to think. It doesn't happen very often where the where and again, I want to make sure there's a difference between the world and the online world, because let's be real, people that in the world are one thing, and then people online are not the same thing, right? It's two different things. People in the online world get upset. It's very rare because it doesn't. Because the thing is, because the players have their checkpoints where they're like, okay, do this, say this, because of the backlash that they could get if they don't tick the boxes, right? We talk about press conferences, how they're also same and mundane and boring because, one, the players are trained they know what to say to avoid backlash, but also, the backlash comes so they don't want to say something. They gotta be, and Osaka didn't tick the box of thank opponent. She, in that moment of disappointment, and that's, and it sucks that it sucks that people are getting so upset over that it's unsportsmanlike. And you go, well, maybe she just forgot. Maybe if you watch the match and you watch how she was reacting in that match, maybe in the heat of that moment, and she just wanted to get the hell out of there. She didn't thank. And yeah, okay, it would have been nice if she did, but I don't think it's like the biggest deal that she forgot to say it. And then she went, after having a bit of a thought and settling down a little bit, she went, oh, shit, I forgot to say that. And then she said it in the post-match, so it's not like she totally... And she apologized for not saying it. So, again, maybe we should just be a little nicer. Try and be a little nicer. Maybe a bit more empathetic, Empathy is dead, apparently. Let's just be a little bit more empathetic. Moving on, Gregs. We are moving on. All right, Swiatek dominating. 6-1. Potapova won the second game of the set, and then just Swiatek ran away. Swiatek ran away with the set. Let's see if Potapova can get off to a better start in the second. Potapova. Served to the forehand Swiatek. The forehand from Potapova to the forehand Swiatek. Potapova forehand again. The forehand Swiatek. Swiatek is a winner. Love 15. Love 15. As the return goes into the forehand of Potapova. Swiatek forehand again, the forehand of Potapova. Potapova in the net, love 30. Love 30. As a return the net by Swiatek, 15-30. By the way, chat, yesterday, so I went to breakfast. I had eggs Benedict for the first time in weeks, months. I haven't had eggs Benny for so long. And then went to the thrift, found treasures. And then I went to the bakery and they didn't have a Danish. 30. Oh, it was a shame. I went there and I was like, I'm going to get a Danish, and they had sold out. So I got a hedgehog slice instead, which, chat, the bakery I go to, best bakery in the world. Like, it is, like, they do not miss. Their food is delicious. 30 all. As with a 4-4 rally, Potapova again, the 40 Swiatek. Swiatek is out, 40-30. Like, it is perfect. They are the best bakery ever. It's always those independent bakeries run by, you know, husband and wife that are just always, they're the bakeries that you got to go to. Those like small, you know, independent bakeries that just have, they just every morning they're out there. Every morning they're out there making the food. They're baking in the, you know, right now they're probably baking right now for tomorrow. You know, 2 a.m. So good. What's a hedgehog slice? I think I've explained this before. I don't know what I mean. It's like a, I don't know. Google it. Deuce. I don't know how to explain it. I don't even know. It's got like, hedgehog slice sounds painful. No, it's not. Okay, it's like a rocky road, but without the marshmallows and stuff. All right, ace from Potapova, advantage. It's kind of like a rocky road, but without like a lot of the stuff. Yeah, it's kind of like a rocky road. Rocky road is probably the best. Yeah. What's a rocky road? Chad, am I speaking Australian? What's going on? Yeah, I can't put the match on the screen, otherwise I'll get sent to the gulag, and I really don't want to go there. So, unfortunately, we can't show it. But I can tell you what's happening, and also talk about life stuff if you want to hang out. All right, Potapova holds. I don't know what you would call it in America or anywhere else. Must be an Aussie thing. Must be Australian. It's an Australian thing. So it's got like coconut and chocolate, and like inside it has like little biscuit little pieces of like cookie in them. Just no, it's delicious. All right. It's delicious. It's definitely an Australian thing then, because we've had this conversation before. Google it though. Go just Google hedgehog slice and look at it. And look at the photos. It's got like, they have like it has like peanuts on the top of it, I think. Oh no, maybe it does have peanuts inside it. Maybe it does. Sometimes depends. Hedgehog slice with crushed bits. Yeah, it's definitely got like walnuts in it, and it's also got coconut on top of it. So good. Anyways, love 15. It's delicious. Love 15. As it return now to the forehand Swiatek. For now from Potapova. Into the final Swiatek as Potapova slice. Swiatek comes in and puts it away. 15-all. Do you think this is a bad sign for Novak not to play before US Open? No. No, I don't think so. He's going to play the mixed doubles and he's going to be fine. He's got to manage his workload, you know, these days. And I don't think his knee is... I'm not saying... I wouldn't say that his knee is bad. Because I don't know. But I don't think his knee is probably ever going to be back to what it was before he got injured. Just like Roger, right? Roger hurt his knee. He never really... Well, he said that he never really got back to full fitness. It was always an issue. And we have seen him wearing the brace on and off. So maybe the knee is still... is going to be a problem. And he has to work through that maybe, you know. Again, only he will tell us, you know. And he's not going to tell us now because he's still playing. He'll tell us when he's retired and go, yeah, my knee was kind of a bit of a bummer. If that's a problem. I'm just making guesses because I'm not a doctor. But we have seen him wear the brace on and off over the last couple of months, you know, in practice and stuff. So you wonder whether or not it's just like he's just trying to be careful, you know, doesn't want to overplay, especially with these 2-week Masters. I mean, it's already like, you know, look at all the players that are not playing this tournament. You know, it's crazy. Wimbledon 4 was bad. Oh, yeah, it's true. He had the hip problem at Wimbledon too. Yeah, remember he slipped and he was hobbling around against Sinner in the semis. Yeah, true. I forgot about that. Yeah, maybe he's you know doesn't want to risk that. He didn't play these tournaments last year, but that's because of the Olympics. Anyways, 40-30. But no, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think it's, you know, yeah, last year he lost third round, but Popyrin last year was, and against Djokovic in general, was crazy. Like he is scary. Potapova hits it out 1-1. I think Djokovic with a good draw gets to the quarterfinals. You know, he doesn't need, you know, there's only a few players I think in the draw that will really, at a Grand Slam, that will really test Djokovic. Because even if you look at Djokovic, right, look at what he's done at Slams this year. Semi-final. Like, he only, like that Popyrin loss last year was the only thing on his resume in the last few years, besides not winning a Slam, which we're so used to doing. But if you look at his results and you take his name away from it, and you just look at, like, you give these results to 99.9% of players, they would take it. And they'd be like, holy shit, I'm on fire. But because it's Novak Djokovic, we're like, well, he hasn't won anything. Like, look at this, chat. Okay. 2024 to now. Semi-final, quarterfinal, final, third round. Semi-final. You give those 2 years to anybody else, and it's amazing. If you give that to Fritz, Draper, Rublev, Tsitsipas, Medvedev, even Zverev, you give that to Zverev, holy shit. Like, that's, yeah. The only guys that record doesn't look good is Djokovic, Sinner, and Alcaraz, because those guys win, and, you know, those guys, you know, are used to winning. So, but still, that's crazy. To make the semifinals or better in 6 of your last 7 slams. Sorry, what am I doing? 5 of the last 7. And your worst result in your last 7 slams is a third round. That's not bad. It's just that it's not Novak Djokovic. It's not good enough. You know, it's not good enough for Nole. But so I don't think it's a problem. I don't think not playing is going to be an issue. I think he rocks up for slams. Slams are the goal. And I think that he'll be fine unless he's not 100% physically. He'll be fine. He doesn't need no warm up. Look at Wimbledon, right? He goes to Wimbledon without warm ups all the time and you know, kicks ass. So, anyways, Potapova's in trouble. She is down a break point already. She double faults. There's the break. 2-1 Swiatek. Nobody who got a medal last year at the Olympics had a good run at the US Open. Yeah, the Olympics last year really, I think it really messed things up, didn't it? For a lot of people, you know. All right. Even treating it purely as a job, then it's still good money for job for sure. Yeah, I don't think Djokovic treats tennis as a job. I think he. Look, we said this when he won the Olympics. Like, what's next, right? I think that's going to be a struggle. He's going to have. Like, what is next? He won 100 titles this year. That was huge, right? But like, what is next for Nole? 25 slams. Okay, so he just adds to his record. You know, okay. Beating Federer's Wimbledon record, we always talk about that being something he could try to achieve, but does he want to achieve that? It's something that he wants, right? Is it something that motivates him, right? Is it something that, you know, what is the goal? Does he want to play till 40? Is that a milestone? Like, it's hard to kind of pick, you know, what again, it's easy. Actually, no, it's easy for us to pick. Like, oh, he should just focus on this. But it's also like, well, what does he want? What does Djokovic want? What, you know, what's keeping him playing? You know, he doesn't have to play. If he retired tomorrow, it doesn't change anything, right? Greatest player of all time, ticked all the boxes, won everything, you know, doesn't need to do anything more. Now, the fans and tennis in general, like, oh, well, if he gets 25, that's a good number. Yeah, okay, but does he want 25? Doesn't need it, you know? Doesn't need 25. Didn't need 24. Like, could have been on 23 right now and nothing would have changed, you know? Besides the Margaret Court equaling, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, then again, Margaret Court and Novak Djokovic, it's not a fair comparison because it's two different competitions, you know. Love 15. Yeah, even if he doesn't play, he'll still earn plenty of money because he's got sponsors and stuff. So, like, I don't think he needs to play tennis to get as a, you know, for the paycheck. He's doing exhibitions, you know. I mean, there's so much other stuff going on for Djokovic. I don't think he needs to play tennis to put food on the table at this point, you know. I think he's totally fine with that. But it's just like, what is I mean, what does he want to achieve? I mean, I guess maybe he doesn't know. You know, maybe he's trying to figure that out. You know, does he want a Davis Cup? You know, does he want to get another Davis Cup? Does he want to, you know, does he want another Grand Slam? Is that, you know, only he knows, right? Only he knows what his motivations are. Love 30. I'll tell you this though, chat. From what I've been hearing from a very far distance from what's going on in like Serbia and stuff, it sounds like him. I know there was like he might go into the political world after tennis. I feel like this might maybe even more so from what's been going on with the Serbia Open and stuff. Maybe he does step into the political arena. And chat, it wouldn't be so strange, right, if a tennis player became the president of a country. I mean, we've had plenty of people from different countries, from different backgrounds, you know, comedians and so, you know, businessmen, and why not a tennis player? Like, I don't think it's that wild anymore, you know, to think that he couldn't do that, you know. Anyway, it's 15:40. But it's going to be interesting. Hopefully Djokovic stays in tennis. That's, you know, we want to be coach and stuff, don't we? 30-40. By the way, where's Deb? Deb, why haven't you mentioned Rafa's second child? I thought you would have Been all over it, unless I missed it. 30-40. Swiatek with a foul, second serve. Second serve. Oh, she has been talking about it? Sorry. I missed it. Backhand. Goes out by Swiatek. All right. We're back on serve. 2-0. Not quite at 3-0 yet. If an actor can become a president, why not what an athlete? Yeah, well, exactly. Exactly. All right. As the return goes out by Swiatek, 15 love. As the back in return goes out by Swiatek, 30 love. Oh, while we were talking about Osaka, Deb brought up Rafa's kid. Okay. All right, that's why we missed it, because we're talking about something else. But yeah, I saw a thing. I'm like, oh, great. Awesome. We got two. Do we know the name, or they haven't announced that? Baby Rafa 2. As the return goes in the back end of Potapova, back end of Swiatek in the net, 40 love. Miguel. Baby Miguel. Nice. Someone tells me this is what's going to happen, chat. I'm making a bold prediction. I reckon Baby Rafa will become a football star. Miguel will be the tennis star. 40 love. The second child will become a tennis player. Because he doesn't want to... He'll start with football, like his older brother. But his older brother will be the one who goes and does the football stuff. And then he'll be like, nah, I'm going to be a tennis player, I reckon. One of those two will be a tennis player. And I think it's more likely going to be the one who doesn't have Rafa's name. Because, I mean, if your name is Rafa Nadal, that is, Rafa Nadal Jr., you're already set up for failure. Like, that is a brutal shadow to try and step out of, right? But Miguel Nadal, okay. At least he doesn't have the name to, live up to the name. The surname for sure, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking or they might both be football, or maybe they're going to be like football brothers. I don't think they'll be. The tennis world is going to start saying this. They're going to be like, they're going to be doubles partners. They're going to be the new, Bryan brothers. Okay, they're not, but Potapova 3-2. They're more likely both going to be playing for Real. Miguel Nadal. Guys, I gotta figure out how to say that. Such high expectations already. No expectations. It's very rare that the kids of very successful sports stars become very successful sports stars. I mean, chat. And I want to say this before we start guessing names that are like play. No disrespect to Peter Korda or any Brian Shelton. Yes, Ben, Casper Ruud, right? All of their kids have gone and done really well. I'm talking about like the best of a sport. It's very rare that we get the best of a sport. The best of a sport. I'm talking Tiger Woods. I'm talking Michael Jordan, right? I'm talking the top of the top. Name me a player, a son or a daughter who has gone on to do what their parents did. Even the Agassi's, right? Agassi and Steffi, right? Their kids don't play tennis. Or they're not tennis superstars. Name me somebody whose kid has gone on to be as successful as their parents were. Maybe not to the extent of being the greatest, but like gone on to do somewhat of what their parents did. And I don't want to play what ifs because Leighton Hewitt's son he's just started. I'm talking about, I want you to give me a real example, but this guy could do it. No, I want to give me real, zero. Maybe one person, maybe somebody said Ken Griffey Jr. Yeah, I'm not 100% with those, I don't even know is that baseball? So maybe that's one. I'm not familiar, but maybe that's one. But like, it's a very short. There's not a very long list. I can't think of any. LeBron's son has started to play. He might be one of the very few that. But, like, he's still unproven, right? Brodie Jr.'s unproven, right? He just started. And his dad's still on the team, which is crazy. We should appreciate that for what that is. That's crazy, right? The Rock and his dad, yeah, but that's tough because wrestling is different to I'm not saying that it's not, like, wrestling is definitely a sport and it's physical and, but, like, wrestling is a little different to, like, being successful at wrestling for The Rock. Not saying that he was only successful because of his dad. Not at all. But you could definitely, like, wrestling's tough because they do, it's not the same as, like, there's not the randomness of chance. There's a storyline. They're built, they're trying to build narratives and stuff, and they're given, you know what I mean? Like, again, yeah, Cody Rhodes and The Rock, right? Again, there's a storyline because their parents were there, and they can build off that. So it's hard to compare that to, like, somebody winning a Grand Slam and then going on, and then kids going on to do the same. It's, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to downplay wrestling because wrestling is, I respect it, and it is. But it is different because there's definitely an element of, like, it's an entertainment thing, so they've got to build the storylines for it. So, like, it's hard to, and look, there's no guarantee that The Rock and Cody Rhodes would become. There's probably a lot of wrestlers, kids that have tried to be wrestlers, right? So there's no guarantee, but still, it's still like that. I don't know. I don't want to disrespect wrestling because I know how brutal it can be, and how brutal it is, right? But it's not the same in the same way as, like, oh well, Michael Jordan's kids became superstars in basketball. Like, it's not like you can get as much of a, you can get a lot of help in those sports, but you can't, in basketball and tennis, right? You can get a lot of, you get a leg up and you can get a wild cards and stuff, but it doesn't mean you're going to win, right? There's no guarantee. All right. So, yeah, I'm still trying to think of somebody who was, like, the best at their sport, and then their kid came in and became the best of their, like, almost was on that level. Like, is there anybody who was, like, top 10 all-time of a sport, and then their kid was top 10 as well, all-time of a sport? I can't think of any. Unless, again, baseball I'm not familiar with, so maybe in baseball, I can't think of football, like soccer. People say boxing. Like, I'm trying to think boxing. Who was a top 10 boxer and then their son or their daughter come in and did it? Ken Griffey Jr. seems to be the only one that people mention. But I'm not familiar with because because I'm not familiar with baseball. It was double fault 15-0. So it's extremely rare that it's going to happen. I'll tell you what, though. There's definitely, obviously, a conversation about it. In tennis, we've got so many father-sons or mother-daughters who have come in and become really good tennis players and surpass their parents, right? But how do you surpass Rafa? The bar is too high. How do you go past Jordan, right? How do you go past any of those? The bar is so high. It's like yeah. 15:30. Swiatek a chance to get the break. And we have a fault second serve. As a return goes in the forehand of Potapova, Swiatek makes Potapova volley, but she hits in the net. 15:40. 15:40. Made a serve again. Here's a fault by Potapova. Second serve. As the return goes back in of Potapova. Back into Swiatek at the back of Potapova. Swiatek goes to the slice of Potapova. There's a bit of forehand on the stretch from Potapova in the net. There it is. 30-40. 4-3. 3-4. 3-4. Okay. All right. Also, Chad, I'm wrapping up the parent thing. How many of you do what your parents do? I mean, sometimes kids don't want to do what their parents do, right? They want to do something different. They want to create their own path. They don't want to follow in their parents' footsteps because they don't want to be known what their parents do. They don't. They're like, oh, it's not tennis is not cool. I want to do something else. Hey, Dominic, thank you for the 14 months. They want to create their own name and not just be following. They want to do their own thing. There must be some examples in hockey. Yeah, maybe. Is Wayne Gretzky's kids like superstar? I don't know. Why are you only streaming women's matches? Because Swiatek's playing. But don't worry, we're going to watch Sinner later. I studied the same thing as my parents and then changed career. That's cool. Do the same thing as your mum? Cool. All right, 4-3. Swiatek with a set and a break. As with a forehand into the forehand of Potapova. And then Swiatek hits it. So Potapova hits it out. 15 love. Oh, hey. Is it silly to think that Swiatek will win more Wimbledons than Roland Garros? Yes. Because she just won one, and she's won a lot of French Opens, so. It's silly to think that Swiatek won't win more French Opens from like she's not going to win any French Opens. Like Swiatek made the semis, lost to the world number one in the French Open this year. So and she was this close. I think if she's going to do that, she's going to have to like not win the French Open for the next few years and then win Wimbledon for the next few years, right? To close the gap between those slams. But I would be very surprised if Swiatek won more Wimbledons and French Opens. I think she'll win more Wimbledons and more French Opens, but I don't think she'll win more Wimbledons than French Opens. You think she's going to win 5 Wimbledons? Because she has to win 5, right? Minimum now. Swiatek has won 9 of the last 10 points, by the way. All right, Swiatek 5-3. But yeah, Rune won the first set 7-5. Ruud is in a tiebreak in his first set. Musetti won the first set 7-5 as well. All right, love 15. Swiatek 3 points away. Sorry. Swiatek in the net 15-0. Potapova with serves an ace, 30-15. All right. Second serve. So it goes out by Swiatek, and it's 40-15. Cam, who would you like Andy to interview next? Pete Sampras. Pete Sampras. 40-15. As a return, goes the backhand of Potapova. Swiatek gets it out. And Potapova 4-5. Swiatek is serving for the match. Never happened. Dream on. All right, fine. But I just answered the question that I was asked. There was no rules to the question. Was there a rule? Kenny, was there a rule to the question? Was there a... Realistically, who would you like it? No, it was just who would you like Andy Roddick to interview? I would like Andy Roddick to interview Pete Sampras. Is it going to happen? I don't know. I mean, it's not... I don't know. The question was very simple and I answered it, all right? Now, if I had said I would like Pete, I'd like Andy Roddick to interview, I don't know, Carlos Alcaraz. Okay, that's probably more likely, right? But that wasn't the question. The question was just simple. So I say Pete, and let me dream. Let me dream. Just let me dream. Why? Because Pete doesn't do interviews, and I think Andy's the only person that would be able to get him to do one. And I want to hear from Pete Sampras because he is one of the legends the forgotten legends. You know, he was overshadowed by the big three, and he shouldn't be overshadowed. He should be amongst the conversation. You know. And I think he's the only one who could get him to do an interview. Anyways, Swiatek served for the match. As the return goes back in Swiatek. Swiatek in the net. Love 15. Serve again. As the return goes out. 15-0. There's a bit of fault. Second serve. There's a return into the forehand. Swiatek. Forehand now goes wide by Swiatek. All right, 15-30. Potapova looking to get back on serve. 15-30. As we just serve again. First serve is a fault, second serve. As the return goes in the forehand, Swiatek back in at Potapova. Swiatek comes to the net, hits it out, 15-40. Okay. $15.40. $15.40. We had a fault, second serve. Rude won the tiebreak. Nice. All right, return into the forehand of Swiatek. Potapova hits a forehand wide, 30-40. $30-40. Serving the forehand of Potapova. Swiatek into the slice of Potapova. And Swiatek backhand is a winner. And we get to deuce. What's the next stream? We're going to watch Sinner in a couple of hours. Sinner's playing soon. As we return into the forehand, Swiatek. Forehand again from Potapova into the forehand, Swiatek, who puts in the net. Advantage, Potapova. Advantage Potapova. As the return goes in the front of Swiatek, Potapova into the back of Swiatek, Potapova on the stretch. Hits it out. Deuce. Swiatek with a big ace, and it's advantage Swiatek, match point. Advantage Swiatek. To get to the third round. Serve the forehand Potapova. Swiatek forehand goes wide. We get back to deuce. By the way, if Swiatek does win this match, she will play Kostyuk. Ooh. Okay. Marta Kostyuk is in the next round. That's not easy. Kostyuk, we know how good Kostyuk can be. As the return goes in the back of Swiatek, backhand on the stretch from Potapova. Swiatek forehand into the front of Potapova. Potapova in the net. Advantage Swiatek. Advantage Swiatek. As the return goes into the forehand, Swiatek, forehand Potapova on the stretch. And Swiatek forehand again. Potapova gets there, but hits it long. There it is. Swiatek wins. By the way, chat, this isn't like food on my face. It's just a scratch. All right. Swiatek. She wins in straight sets, but it was a tricky finish to that match. But she wins. And she will play Kostyuk in the third round on Monday. On Monday. All right, GG's. Too little, too late? What do you mean? Boo? Deb, what? Kostyuk won 6 love 6-1 today. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. Swiatek will own Kostyuk. Kostyuk, I mean, I don't know. I can't remember them playing, but Kostyuk, we know how good she can be against a lot of players, so I don't think it's an easy match. Request for dog camp? It's 2 in the morning. My dog's asleep. I'm not waking my dog up for an appearance on camera at 2 in the morning. She's just chilling. I don't think Swiatek's style of game will trouble Swiatek. Well, it depends. I mean, Kostyuk, if she's super aggressive and it's working, could be a problem. What do I think of Colin's outburst yesterday? I didn't see it. What happened? It's 3-0 Swiatek against Kostyuk. Kostyuk, Indian Wells, Cincinnati, and Roland Garros. Okay. I don't know. I just feel like Kostyuk, if she's on, could be interesting. But 3-0 is very one-sided. Funny that the men's matches that started the same time are still playing. Yeah, I know, right? Crazy. I mean, I'm looking at the results. So you've got Rune's up a set, but on serve in the second. Rude won the first. I mean, Rude's first set, 7-6. Took as long as the whole match, but this is what Swiatek does. That's how Swiatek plays, you know. But now we're just got to wait for Jannik Sinner, who's coming up in a couple hours. He's playing after Tommy Paul, who's playing now. So, yeah. Oh, Tsitsipas Marijan. That's an interesting match. Does Sinner stand a chance against Gallen? Did I read that wrong? Does Sinner stand a chance against Gallen? Oh no, I read that right. You wrote it. Is that what did you? Did you read that? Maybe you meant the other. Is that a typo? It feels like Marijan might be the favorite against Steph. Yeah, I mean, that's not an easy match. Swiatek won 64th consecutive first round match, or opening match. That's crazy. I think Collins wasn't feeling physically well. Her serve, especially second serve, was hardly normal. Could be pain. Okay. You should say no, Cam, play the game too. Huh? Collins pulled a Medvedev and left the bag on court. Okay. Was it why though? I think Collins wasn't feeling physically well. Okay. Okay. Swiatek is very consistent, and that's what I like about her. Cool. All right. I'm out of here, but I'm going to send you over the Sinner match. Sinner's coming on after Tommy Paul. So that is that. There you go. Talk amongst yourselves if you want to stick over there or not. It's up to you. But we'll be back. We'll watch Jannik Sinner after, hopefully, in a couple of hours. And then we've also got Raducanu coming up later. We've got Sabalenka Vondi. I'm excited for that one. That's going to be fun later. The rematch. But good win by Swiatek. She gets it done in the end, 6-1, 6-4. She'll take on Kostyuk in a couple of days. We're definitely going to watch that. We watch Swiatek matches. you know it. If you've been here for a second, you know that is what we do. And we'll be watching her in a couple of days' time. Sinner coming up later. Bye.